Hey guys, CJ here, and a little bit of news for you on this slow Friday afternoon. Recently, Jesse Eisenberg sat down with Variety to discuss his role as Lex Luthor, along with a different movie that he was doing at the end of the tour, where Jason Segel plays David Foster Wallace. And just really interesting, kind of some of the details that he gave us. He didn't give us much, however, he did kind of confirm some things that we've heard. So let's just dive right in. And asked, "You're just wrapped playing Lex Luthor in Batman vs. Superman. Is your head still shaved?" He said, "I can't say anything about this stuff. They want this all to be a surprise." When he was asked, "Do you think you'll play Lex again in a Superman sequel?" he replied, "I would love to. It's a great group and director, and it's the most ideal character to play." "Were you a fan of Superman growing up?" He said, "No." "You weren't?" they asked. He said, "I never minded him." "Did you watch the movies at all?" they asked, and he said, "Oh, just to understand the context of this one, but no, not as a child." So clearly, maybe Jesse Eisenberg is still in character as Lex Luthor. He's kind of channeling his Mark Zuckerberg for sure. But just some interesting stuff when he mentions that he can't shave his head. I'm guessing he was wearing a hat or something, and the only reason he would, wear a hat is to hide his shaved head. So I think he will definitely have a shaved head at some point during this movie. Do you think he'll play Lex again in a Superman sequel? And this kind of ties into what I was saying about him still being in character, because he mentions it's the most ideal character to play, and isn't that something that Lex Luthor would really say about himself? But I mean, par from the course, like a lot of these guys, with the exception of Ben Affleck, I don't think any of the actors they've cast for this movie were huge comic book fans growing up. I know Cavill wasn't a huge Superman fan, but he's become a huge Superman fan. But Affleck was a huge Batman fan, and has been a huge Batman fan for most of his life. But in terms, it seems like Jesse Eisenberg just wasn't really into that stuff. But he has watched the other movies at all. So it's really interesting to see, which ones did he watch? And that'll be my comment question. Which movie do you think Jesse Eisenberg watched to prepare for this one? Do you think it's some of the classic Christopher Reeve Superman movies with Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor? Or do you think it's the more recent Superman Returns with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor? Love that movie, but specifically love that performance from Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. So, in the thoughts below, which do you think he watched, and which do you think he will most closely follow? Gene Hackman or Kevin Spacey for Lex Luthor? That about wraps it up for me here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is CJ signing off, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, subscribe if you haven't yet. Like the video if you liked it, obviously. Share it on social media. Speaking of social media, we have a Twitter, so follow us on Twitter. We have a Facebook, so like us on Facebook. We do a lot on the social medias that we don't do on YouTube in particular. And we'll see you guys next time.